Hey there, today I'm going to show you how I did this photos effect on a video that I did recently with no plugins. With that, let's cut to it already. First thing we need is a background, a video background. This was one of the videos that we shot in Miami Beach. You know, basic, just capturing the scenery. And so there's the background. And so now it is just a matter of adding our photos. So I'll start with this one. I'll bring it down to as B-roll above the video. And so that is what that looks like. Not exactly what we're after. So the way that we turn this into that Polaroid picture effect is over here in the effects, look up photo recall. Here it is, photo recall. And when we drop this on our picture, it does that. Still not quite what we're looking for, but it kind of looks like a picture now. First thing that I do is I change this style from classic to instant. This is where I get the Polaroid effect. So they're cool, we have a picture, but we also have all this extra nonsense going on around the photo. The photo recall effect applies, it applies to the entire clip, and so that's why this entire photo is affected this way. Again, not really what we want, but easy enough to fix. All we have to do is come down here to crop, make sure type is trim, and then just squeeze in these values until you get to the edge of the Polaroid frame. There's the left, here's the right. Be careful when you do this, you don't go too far, because the further you go, it takes away the entire photo. You don't want that. You want to get it just up to the edge of the Polaroid frame. There's the right and the top and the bottom. Something else that I did, I wanted the picture to show up first on screen a little bit bigger, and so I come up here to the scale and I change it from 100 to 115%. That is the start of the picture. And so now if we play through, we have a picture. We can make this better though. The way that I made this better is first I wanted to incorporate like a flash effect. Probably all kinds of ways to do that. The way that I figured out how to do it is over here in your titles and generators, under generators, solids, this called whites. And so I bring this down. We don't need this to be nearly this long. And so I'll just trim it up to 5 frames. That's 8, 5, 4, well here. There's our 5 frames. And so now if we play through that, little flash effect, I thought I could make that even a little better. And the way that I did that is, so I'll start here on the first frame of the flash, of the flash. We know it's the first frame from this little L-shaped symbol here. And what I did here is I came over to opacity and I turned it all the way down and keyframed it. As this is 5 frames, I went halfway through, so over to the third frame, over 2, and I brought this back up to 100%. And then again to the last frame, and we know it's the last frame of the flash because of this backwards L-shaped symbol, and bring the opacity all the way back down. And so now if we play through, we get a flash effect. Kind of cool. I thought it was kind of cool. One more piece of spice is to add some sound. So I found this camera shutter sound, and I just drop it right there. And so now we have an entire experience of seemingly like we took a picture. Seeming like we took a picture. Just like that. I don't want that, I want that. So now it's time to move it. You know, to make it fall to the background, so to speak. And so to do that, put your playhead wherever you want the movement to start. I'll choose there, choose my photo. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to keyframe the position, rotation, and scale. This is where I want the movement to start. Here are my keyframes. Move the playhead to where I want the movement to end. Randomly, I'll just choose right about there. And with that there, put the photo where you want it. Now, the first thing that I know that I like to do is to change the scale from 115% to 80%. As if it got smaller because it faded away. It fell backwards. And then I'll move my picture to wherever I want it to end up. I'll leave that one there. And then change the rotation slightly, just for a little bit of randomness. That looks fine to me. So now if we play through, and then it falls. I like it. So what's next? Well, next is to add our second picture. I will use this picture that was shot in portrait, because there's a little bit of a gotcha here that we need to keep in mind when you're working with these. I'll show you what's going on. So here's the photo. We already know we need to add our photo recall effect to this. So we'll just add that. And again, we're going to change the style from classic to instant. And here's the problem. The photo, since it's shot portrait, doesn't fill up the entire inside of the Polaroid frame. I couldn't figure out any way to make that happen as is. I'm going to show you how this does get fixed, but changing this scale didn't do it for me. That's not what I wanted. Changing this scale didn't do it for me. Not what I wanted. So let me reset this, and delete this photo recall effect for the time being. So we're back to where we started. What I figured out is you have to size this up to the size you want it before adding the photo recall effect and turning it into a compound clip in the meantime, in the middle of that. So I think I just jumbled that up, but watch this. So we have our photo selected. And I know from having done this before that for me, for this picture, I like this at about 145%. Obviously, we're losing some of the content, but for how this ended up, I liked it. It worked for me, just so so her face doesn't show and her feet don't show. It's fine by me. For what I was doing here. So now with this done, and we right click, new compound clip. I don't care what it's called. I'll hit OK. It's a compound clip. And now as a compound clip, when we drop our photo recall on top of it, and again, change the style from classic to instant, now we're filling the entire Polaroid frame. We still have all this extraness around it that we don't want, and that gets fixed the exact same way we fixed it before. So bring in the left, to right about there, and if it helps to zoom in so you can see this better, feel free to do that. I went 50%. You could go 100%, whatever helps you, and just get it right about there. Oop, not enough. Like that. Bring the right in, about like that. Bring the top down, the bottom up. And I can go ahead and scale, now that we have this done, I can go ahead and scale this up to the 115% that I like. And of course the sizes and the locations of all of this is completely up to you guys. Obviously, however, whatever it is you're trying to get done with yours, but this is how I did mine. So here's my photograph. First one, and then the second one shows up. We don't have any of the extra spice here. That's really easy since we've already done it once. Control C here. Paste it there. Same with that's the flash. Same with the sound. Command C to copy. I think I said Control before. Command C if you're on a Mac. Control if you're on a PC. Command V. And so here, now we have two photos. Now to me, the second one showed up a little fast. So easy enough. I'll just move it down the timeline here a little bit. Both the photo and the flash effect and the sound. So now when I play it through, I like that. So now that we have the second one on screen, we have to move it. So again, put your playhead wherever you want the movement to begin. I'll choose here. Make sure you have your picture selected, or your clip. And same thing as before. We are going to keyframe the position, the rotation, and the scale. wherever you want the movement to start. Move your playhead to where you want it to end. I'll do that. And put the photo wherever you want it. So I already know that I want to change the scale to 80% to match the first one. And take note of that. So, you know, for me wanting to get this really, you know, as good as I could make it, I took note of the scale that I chose for the first picture so that I could ensure that I use the same scale for the other ones. I think it just helps to add to the realism. So I made a note of that, so I already know that it's 80 there. And then if I want to move it around, I can move it over here and rotate it a little bit if I want. I'll just, for the sake of looking random. And I haven't changed the Y value of any of these, but I could. I'll pick this one up a little bit. And there we go, we have our second photo on. So now as we play through, just like that. And finally, our third picture. So we used that one and that one. So here now we'll use this one, drop it on top of the second one. And I'll probably want to start that there, just looking at about the space there. And rinse and repeat. So again, we have our photo. We're going to add our photo recall effect to it. We are going to change the style of the photo recall effect from classic to instant. We're going to bring in all of the extraness because we don't want it. Left, right, and the top, and the bottom, and also increase the scale from 100% to 115% as I did before. And there is our picture. So again, for the added effects, super simple now since we've already done it. I'm going to Command C, the flash effect, put it here, Command V, make sure that it's right up against it. And then same with the sound. Command C, where do I want it? Command V. That is where I want it. So now we play through, second picture, third picture. All that's left is to move the third picture. Well, we're going to do that exactly the same way we did it before. So put my playhead where I want the movement to start. Let's try there maybe, where I want the movement to start. And keyframe the position, rotation, and scale. Move your playhead to where you want the movement to end. I'll go with that. And put the picture where you want it. So I already know that I want to change the scale from 115% to 80, like I did the previous two. And then I'm going to move it. So I'm going to move this one way over here. And I'll leave the Y alone, but if I wanted to, I could drop it a little for the sake of real randomness, and then change the rotation just a bit, just to make it interesting. And so, with that, play through, first picture, second picture, third picture. Now let me show you something. For me, the movement of the third picture was a little late. It worked, it was fine, it was good, but I think I want that to start a little bit sooner. Let me show you how to do that. And let me go ahead and move this back to fit. Right-click the picture that you want to change and do Show Video Animation. When you show this, these are the keyframes that control the movement of the picture. These are the ones that you set manually when you went over here and tick, tick, tick the three of these. And the second set are the ones that Final Cut Pro created for you when you moved your picture around. So if we want, in this case, to start the movement sooner, all we have to do is click and drag these to wherever you want it to start. So I'll just move that a little sooner. It did not move this one, but I want the movement to take about the same amount of time, so I'll move it over also. And then now when we play through, just like that. If you get tired of looking at this, you can when you're done, right click, hide video animation. And we've done it. We've put all three of our pictures on screen with the background video. The last thing you want to consider is what to do with them now that they're here. Unless you want to leave these photos on screen for the duration of your entire video, then you have to do something different with them. If we did nothing at all and just played through, we'll see that eventually, as they expire on the timeline, they just kind of disappear. It's actually not too bad an effect. And sorry, there's my wife. It's not bad, but it wasn't what I was after. And so again, if we just play that through, disappear, and eventually the other one disappears as well. Now, one thing that I did is I made them all disappear at the same time. So to do that, it's pretty easy. I will just Option right bracket to make that one in the same as the second, and stretch this one out. And so now, obviously, they'll all show up on their own, but then they all disappear at the same time. I'm pretty sure that's exactly how I did it on this video, but I used the end of the kind of the natural end of one clip and cut to the second as my transition to make the pictures disappear. So if I take my clip here, the video clip, and trim it down with Option right bracket and add another clip, this is just a different clip, and play through, then the photos last for as long as we're looking at this scene of the beach, but then disappear when the scenery changes. That is exactly how I did this, I believe, the Miami video that is on my wife's channel. I've done this effect a few other times on a few other of her videos, and every time I do it a little bit differently. I think the next time I did it, I made the pictures fall off the screen, and I'll show you how I did that. So again, I'll just start from the first photo and work my way up. I'm going to put my playhead wherever I want my movement to start, and we're going to do this the exact same way that we moved the pictures before. And so I'll put my playhead there because that's where I want the movement to start. Maybe there. How about there? This is where I want the movement. Maybe there. This is where I want the movement to start. And so, actually, that's where I want it. So what I'm going to do here is just keyframe the position. This is where I want the movement to start. I want it to end at the end, so back one frame. So now I'm still in the photos. And I'm going to simply change the Y value, bring the Y value way down until the picture is off screen. Just like that. So go back, play through, picture one, picture two, picture three, and then the first one falls off the screen. To do that with the rest of them, bring the playhead back here. Maybe I'll make the second one start falling a little after the first one starts falling. So I'll leave my playhead here, highlight my second picture, keyframe the position, move my playhead to where I want the movement to end, which is at the end of the picture, at the end of the pictures, right about there, and then change the location of the second picture by bringing the Y value way down until the picture falls off screen. And so now if we play it through, first one falls, and the second, they both fall essentially at the same time, but the first one gets a little bit of a head start. We can do the same with the third one. So I'll have it start falling a little bit after the second one does. Right there. Leave my playhead here. Highlight the photo that I'm trying to change. Keyframe the position. Go to the end of the photos and change the position of the third picture by decreasing the Y value until the picture's off screen. So now if we play the whole thing back, and then they all fall off. The third time that I did this, and I just kind of make this up as I go along, it's just whatever thought I have that day, is I did something very similar with keyframing but with opacity. So essentially I just made them fade off screen. I won't undo the movement, but I'll just add the opacity just so we'll have a combo effect here. So right about here where this starts to move, playhead here, I am going to keyframe the opacity this time. I'm going to move the playhead to where I want that to end, last frame, and I'm going to bring the opacity all the way down. So now, as we watch that, now watch the first picture as it falls, it's also going to kind of fade away. And if I didn't have it falling, it would simply be there and just fade away, which is exactly how I did it the second time. They just faded off screen sitting where they're sitting. To do that with the rest of them, we can do that now with the second one. Keyframe the opacity, bring your playhead to where you want that to stop, and bring the opacity all the way down. I won't play through it again this time, we'll just look at them all at the same time. So right about when the third one starts to fall, there we go. Picture selected, opacity keyframed, playhead to the end, back up a frame, and opacity all the way down. So now we play it through, 3 pictures show up, and then they all disappear, falling down and fading away all at the same time. So I hope you enjoyed this. More importantly, I hope you learned something. And with that, have a great day.